Hello students, today let us study about another topic in cloud computing, and that is the architecture, and the subtopic we'll be considering today is generic cloud computing architecture. So this is the outline for today's session. We'll be studying about generic cloud computing architecture, the various components of cloud like the front end, the back end, the various services provided by the cloud service provider, and some of the examples of cloud architecture like for example OpenNebula and OpenStack. We'll be seeing a brief about them, followed by ODC, which stands for on-demand computing, and then assignments which are important for GQ exam. So as you can see in the figure, this is a very generic architecture of cloud, and it has a front end that is termed as the client infrastructure as shown in the figure, and there is a back end that is the server side of the cloud, and both the front end and the back end are connected to the internet. Client infrastructure normally is a mobile or desktop or a tablet machine. Like for example, if you want to access Facebook, you will be accessing it through your mobile, which becomes an client to the cloud, and Facebook setup on the cloud becomes the backend. So client infrastructure also has the GUI required to access the various services provided at the backend. So as you can see in the backend, there are various layers. Like for example, you have management layer, you have application layer, you have service layer, you have runtime cloud, you have storage, you have infrastructure, and the security. Management is basically used to manage the different layers in the cloud, and on the lower side you have the infrastructure. Infrastructure would be having something like virtual machines and various other machines. You also have a storage in the backend that is used to store huge data on the cloud. You have the runtime cloud, which is used to help and manage the virtual machines. You have the various services and various applications at the backend. Also, it is supported by the security, and security is to manage the different applications and the data, and security at the backend has to be strong and is normally strong, and the backend is normally installed on the Linux servers, which are not easy to hack, but the front end is very easy to hack as the security is comparatively weak. So this is a brief architecture of cloud. Now here we will be studying about the different components. As I said, it's basically comprising of main two components, that is front end and back end. And also to highlight, the cloud computing components are very loosely coupled. Loosely coupled because the components do not interact or very loosely interact with each other. So the broad classification is basically two parts, that is the front end and the back end. Each of the end is connected through the network or the internet. Like for example, if your internet is not working on your mobile, you will not be able to access any of the services on the cloud. So to connect to the cloud, you need to have internet. This is a diagram which depicts the difference between the tightly coupled and the loosely coupled. As I focused, cloud computing components are very loosely coupled. So the diagram on the left side of the figure shows about loosely coupled, which basically says that the components are less interdependent, there is less coordination among the components, and also there is less information flow among the components. Exactly opposite is the tightly coupled. The tightly coupled components are more interdependent, they coordinate among themselves at a large level, that is why it is termed as more coordination, and there is a lot of information flow among them. So this was brief difference between tightly coupled and loosely coupled. Now let us see about the front end of the cloud. The front end is normally used by the client, and it normally has client-side interfaces and the applications that are required to access the cloud computing platforms. The front end normally includes the web servers and various other browsers like Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, and others. It also has thin clients and fat clients, tablets, and mobile devices. Normally today mobile devices are very popular and it is connected to a mobile cloud at the back. So this is the slide which describes about backend, and it normally refers to the cloud itself and is used by the cloud service provider. So cloud service provider installs everything on the backend server of the cloud, and it consists of various resources that are required to manage the cloud computing services. It consists of huge data storage, security mechanisms, various services provided by the cloud, the virtual machines, the deployment models, the servers, the traffic control mechanisms, and various other protocols to manage the backend of the cloud. It is also the responsibility of the backend to provide built-in security mechanism, the traffic control, and the protocols. As I was referring, the backend has to be pretty strong, and normally they are on the Linux servers, so hacking is not going to be easy for the backend servers. The server also contains middle layer, which is also termed as middleware, which will help the connected devices to communicate with each other. So this was brief introduction about backend. Now let us see various other components of cloud in detail. So firstly, it is the client infrastructure that is termed as the first component, and it is the front end component of the cloud. It provides a GUI which is termed as graphical user interface to interact with the cloud. Like I spoke, you have a mobile. Mobile has an icon to connect to the Facebook, which is at the back end, and the icon becomes your mode to connect to the Facebook, or it is termed as a GUI to connect to the Facebook. Then you have the application. The application may be any software or platform that a client wants to access, like for example Facebook at the back end. Then there are various services provided. A cloud service manages the different type of services, like we have SPI. SPI is an acronym for software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. So these are three various services provided by the cloud. Then you have the runtime cloud, which is helpful in executing and running the environment for the virtual machines. The fifth is the storage, which is very important component for the cloud computing and provides a huge amount of storage capacity in the cloud to store and manage the data. This is very important component of cloud, and it needs to be very secure, otherwise you will have data leakage issues. Then we have the infrastructure. It provides services on the host level, the application level, and the network level. Cloud infrastructure includes the hardware and the software components such as server, storage, network device, virtualization software, and other resources that are needed to support the cloud computing model. Infrastructure is very important and costs a lot for the service provider, and it will be cheap for the client because you will be renting the infrastructure. Then is the management, which is used to manage components such as the application, service, runtime cloud storage, infrastructure, and other security issues in the backend, and establish coordination between them. Management layer is very important as it is managing the various layers of the cloud. Then we have the security. Normally there is a built-in backend component that is going to provide security to the cloud computing components, and as I said, normally the security for the Linux servers is very strong, so backend services are on Linux, and it provides an security mechanism very strongly for the backend. Then we have the internet. This is the medium through which the front end and the back end, they can interact with each other and communicate with each other. This is a diagram which depicts the cloud computing architecture for OpenStack. On the lower side you have choice of storage, choice of hypervisor, like for example Zen is very popular with OpenStack, and then you have choice of networking. This becomes your infrastructure at the back end for OpenStack. On the higher side you have the major components of OpenStack, like for example Ceilometer, Cinder, Swift, Glance, Keystone, Nova, Heat, and Neutron. These are major components of OpenStack which will help you in operating the backend of the cloud. On the higher side you have is the user interface. You have basically two types of user interfaces, that is horizon and command line. Horizon is basically a GUI based interface, and command line is basically something like your DOS based system where through command you can access. And then you have the management tools and the various applications which run on OpenStack. So this is a brief introduction to architecture of OpenStack. We'll see about OpenNebula also. So again, like similar with the other clouds, you can see on the lower side you have the physical infrastructure, that is the servers, the networks, and the storage, and above it are the different components of Open Nebula. On the very much lower side of the Open Nebula, you have the physical infrastructure drivers, which will drive the various devices of the cloud, and next to it is the cloud drivers through which the external clouds are connected. Above it is the core components of cloud of Open Nebula, and above it are the tools. So the core components are the VM manager, the network manager, the storage manager, the information manager, the accounting and auditing, the authorization and authentication manager, and image manager, followed by the federation manager. Above it are the various tools which will help the administrator to admin management of the cloud, the service manager which will help manage the different services of the cloud, the scheduler, and the cloud interfaces through which the remote users are connected to the cloud. On the other side of the figure, you have the local users and the administrator, through which the local users and the administrator can connect to the clouds, specifically the administrator tools. So this is a brief introduction of Open Nebula. Now let us see about ODC, which is on-demand computing. This is a business model computing in which computing resources are made available to the user on need basis. Also it is called as demand basis. And ODC computing allows cloud hosting companies to provide their clients with access to computing resources as they become necessary. So as and when you require, you can request the service provider, and the service provider will provide you the various resources you have requested. They have various client interfaces through which the clients can connect to the cloud. So ODC makes computing resources such as storage, capacity, computational speed, and software applications available to the users as and when needed to specific temporary projects. Normally these are required only when you need it for some specific time, and you also have to pay it for that specific time. So those projects, once they are over, they are termed as temporary projects. You can release the resources. And also when there is known or unexpected workloads, normally during routine work at times the workload increases, so that time also you have to demand for the computing power, or maybe long-term technological and computing requirements. Now ODC is normally, as I said, needed when you demand for some resources. So you have to also pay and use. So it could be pay per use, or pay as you go, or pay as you need basis computing power. So you have to just pay only for the services you are using. So as per your need you will have to pay. This is also known as OD computing or utility computing. That is why it is termed as on-demand computing or utility computing. So ODC is normally software as a service and a cloud computing, where all the models help in repacking computational software application and network services. So this is a diagram in which there is an engineer who is requesting for a virtual machine through an API request to the cloud. The cloud will process the request of this engineer, and the result is will be provided with the number of virtual machines he has requested for. That is why it is termed as on-demand computing. He demands for the VM or maybe other resources, but the diagram is depicting about the VM, and the result will be the cloud will process and will provide it to the engineer. So there are various advantages of ODC. For example, one of the major advantages is it is very low initial cost, as computational resources are essentially rented when they are required. So that is why they are termed as on demand. So whenever they are demanded, they can be requested and they can be rented, and the service provider will provide them as per the demand. Also they will provide cost saving over purchasing them outright. You do not have to invest for the infrastructure, as you are hiring it from the cloud service provider. So you are saving that cost. And also it helps to deal and manage fluctuating computing needs. As and when your needs for the processing temporary project increases, you can demand for more resources, and of course you have to pay accordingly. So these are some of the advantages of ODC. So these are some of the assignments for this particular topic, and some of them are 7 marks questions, some of them are for 3 marks questions. Of course they are not being asked in G2 exam, but probably they could be asked. So you can study these questions, and they are all related to architecture of cloud computing. If you have any queries, you can contact me at the specified email ID, or you can also WhatsApp your doubts to me. We are done for today. Thank you.